Hi guys, so we are getting ready to take your parallel and perpendicular lines quiz, but before you do, I just wanted to do a quick review with you. So here's a warm-up problem. I'm going to really strongly encourage you to pause this video right now and try these problems, and then when you unpause it, I'm going to go through these with you, okay? So pause it now. All right. So now that you've tried these problems, let's go through them together. So number one, we want the equation of the line that's parallel to this line here, and then we want it to pass through the point negative 10 comma 4. So keep in mind, we're going to use y equals mx plus b for all of these. And we also have to remember that parallel lines have the same slopes, right? Or in other words, like m. So if our line is y is equal to 2 over 5x plus 7, the slope of this, y equals mx plus b, is 2 over 5, right? And we want it to go through this point negative 10 comma 4, x comma y. So y equals mx plus b. We're going to use this x and y that we have right here, and we're going to use this m here, and we're going to plug them all in. So 4 is equal to 2 over 5, because again, remember this 2 over 5 was the slope of this line, and we know that parallel lines have the same slopes, right? Our x value is negative 10 plus b. So now we're going to take this equation and solve for b. So 4 is equal to 2 over 5 times negative 10. You can use your calculator or think of this as like negative 10 over 1. So it's 4 is equal to negative 20 over 5. And negative 20 over 5 is just negative 4. And then to solve for b, I want to get b by itself, so I'm going to add 4 to both sides. 8 is equal to b. So my equation is y is equal to 2 over 5x plus 8, the b that I just found. All right, so that's number one. Number two, so now this is asking about perpendicular lines, right? Perpendicular lines, their slopes are opposite reciprocals. Remember, that means you change the sign and then you flip the fraction. That's what an opposite reciprocal is. So it's really similar to what we just did, but we have to identify the slope of this line here. So y is equal to negative 4x plus minus 1. So y equals mx plus b. So the slope here is negative 4, right? But we don't want our slope to still be negative 4. We want it to be the opposite reciprocal. So the perpendicular slope is going to be, change the sign. So the sign here was negative. It's going to be positive. And then make this 4 over 1. It becomes a positive 1 over 4. So you change the sign and you flip the fraction. And we want it to go through the point 0 comma negative 3. So we're using this slope and this point. So this is like x and y, right? So we're going to do y equals mx plus b. So negative 3 is equal to positive 1/4. X is 0 plus b. So we have negative 3 is equal to 1/4 times 0 is just 0. And then to get b by itself, you can think of like subtracting 0, or just 0 plus b is just b. So negative 3 is equal to b. So my equation, my final answer, is going to be y is equal to 1/4 x minus 3. And now keep in mind, you know, your y-intercept, or I'm sorry, the point I meant to say, the point that I gave you was the point 0 comma negative 3. So your y-intercept is always going to be 0 comma a number. So I didn't even really need all this work here. I didn't even need to show that because I gave you the y-intercept. If I didn't give you a point like 0 comma something, then you would need to do that plugging in. But you could kind of just go right to the answer here. All right, number 3. What would the slope of a line that's perpendicular to this equation be? And then what would the slope of a line that's parallel to it be? So first of all, we need the slope of the line. If I look at this equation here that I gave you, that's not in y equals mx plus b. I'm going to need to solve this for y to get the slope. So I'm going to rewrite it, or actually I don't even need to rewrite it. Hold on. So I'm going to take this equation and solve for y. So negative 2x on both sides. I want to get rid of that 2x. So I have negative 9y equals negative 2x plus 18, right? And then to get y by itself, I'm going to divide by negative 9. That cancels, and I have y is equal to a negative over a negative is a positive 2 over 9x minus 2. So this equation is the same equation that they gave me. It's just solved now for y. So if I look here, the slope of this line, I can now say is 2 over 9, right? That's the slope of the original line. So now the question is, what's the slope of a line that's perpendicular? So the perpendicular slope, remember, it's going to be the opposite reciprocal. So I have to switch the sign. So the original slope was positive. I make it negative, and then I flip the fraction. So 9 over 2. So that would be my perpendicular slope that I would then plug into my new equation. And my parallel slope is going to be the same as the original. So you just go back and say your m is going to be 2 over 9, right? All right, so now that you've done a couple practice problems to get ready for your quiz, let's go over homework. So this homework was due last week. This was the parallel lines homework. So get out this parallel lines packet. Remember, it's on the back page of the parallel lines note packet. So you can pause the video if you need to. Get that parallel lines note packet out and check these homework answers. So again, parallel lines have the same slope. We pull off the slope from the equation. M is equal to 2, y equals mx plus b. And now they're telling you that the y-intercept is 12, so you can just plug in m and b right there. You don't really have to do any work for number 1. But then number 2, we want the equation parallel to y equals 3x plus 1, so we need to pull off that slope. So m is equal to 3, and it needs to go through this point. So remember, this is like x comma y. So y equals mx plus b. You're going to plug in 8 is equal to 3. And then the x value is 2 plus b. And then you're going to solve for b. And when you solve for b, you get 2. And then that gives you your final answer. All right, and then here's 3 and 4. So very similarly, here's your m, right? Parallel lines have to have the same slope. Here's your x, here's your y. You plug in y equals mx plus b. So it'll be like 9 is equal to negative 4 times 1 plus b. Solve for b and you get 13. Number 4, you have to take this equation and kind of like what we just did in the warm-up, we're going to solve it for y first. So you can't pull the slope off of this equation. You have to solve it for y. So to get y by itself, this is what you're going to do. You're going to subtract 2x. You're going to divide by 3. And you get y is equal to negative 2/3 x plus 2. Then here's your slope. So you use this slope, you use this x and this y. And kind of like in the warm-up, I'm giving you the point 0, 5. So 5 is going to be your b. So you don't even really need to plug in. Here's your m, here's your b, and then you plug into your equation. So that's the parallel lines homework. Now pull out your perpendicular lines notes. And on the last page of that, you had your parallel and perpendicular lines quiz review homework. And this was due last class, so you're going to check these answers real quick. Which of the following lines are parallel? again, parallel, they have to have the same slopes, right? So you have to solve for y first, get y by itself, and find the slopes. Put them all into y equals mx plus b. Oops. Mx plus b. And then the ones with the same slopes are the two circled in purple. Number 2, are the lines parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Again, you find the slope. If they're parallel, they're going to be the same slope. If they're perpendicular, they're going to be opposite reciprocals. Number 2 is a little tricky. These are already in y equals mx plus b. Here's the m is -3, but if you look closely, the second one, y is equal to 1/3. There's no x there. So this is your b. Oh my goodness. This is your b, and your slope is 0. So it's kind of like y is equal to 0x plus 1/3. So your slope here is 0. That's why these are not parallel nor perpendicular. Number 3, your slope is 1/5. Slope is -5, which is like -5 over 1. They're opposite signs. Fractions are flipped. Number 4, you have to solve this for y, right? You have -10y equals -5x plus 4. Divide by -10. So you have y is equal to positive 1/2 x minus 2 over 5. But your slope is 1/2. This slope is -2 over 1. Opposite signs flip the fraction, so they're perpendicular. And then these here, on all of these, you had to find the perpendicular slope or the parallel slope, depending on what they're asking you for. And then you had to plug in the point into y equals mx plus b. So you got to read the question carefully. And the same goes for your quiz today. This is asking for the equation of the line that's parallel. So you need to know, okay, if it's parallel, then the slopes are the same. And then this is your x and y that goes into y equals mx plus b, right? Parallel, so slopes are the same. Solve for y first. Then you have -y equals -3x plus 12. Divide by -1. Y is equal to 3x minus 12. So your slope is 3. And then this is your x and y. Number 7 and number 8 are asking for perpendicular lines. So you find the slope. So number 7, you're going to solve for y first. Divide by 3. Here's your slope. Oops. -4 over 3. So the perpendicular line, so the perpendicular slope is going to be the opposite reciprocal. So switch the sign, flip the fraction. That's how we get this -3 over 4. And then you plug in x comma y to y equals mx plus b, right? But you use this slope when you plug in. Same thing here. The original slope is 6, so the perpendicular slope is change the sign, make it negative, flip the fraction to 1 over 6, and then plug in x and y to y equals mx plus b to solve for b. All right, that's it. Good luck on your quiz today, and thanks for watching.